Hello and welcome back to Football Daily, where today we found 10 players to fill holes at some of Europe's biggest clubs ahead of the January transfer window. We start in Catalonia. 10. Dayot Upamecano to Barcelona. One of Barcelona's many problems is their tendency to get fixated on one player. Griezmann and Coutinho were both signed at times when their prices outstripped their value, and the Blaugrana haven't learned, bidding £20 million for Man City's Eric Garcia, despite the Spaniard's contract expiring in 2021, and just 991 top-flight minutes across his career so far. That's a risky way to replace Gerard Pique, out until April with a ligament injury, so why not shell out for a proven star? Dayot Upamecano has a £36 million buyout next summer, meaning £50 million could snare him in January, and he seems tailor-made for Barca. Outrageously fast and strong, the 22-year-old has won 91% of his tackles he's attempted this campaign, gaining possession nearly 5 times a game in the Champions League, and also provides aerial dominance with a huge 71% success rate. But the youngster is just as intelligent and skillful as he is athletic, capable of playing across the back three and hitting over 7 accurate long balls per 90, twice as many as Pique. As Barca's legends age out and presidential elections approach, the club's foundations are shakier than ever. Upamecano could become the rock supporting another great side. 9. Federico DiMarco to Everton. James Rodriguez makes Everton less reliant on left-back Lucas Digne, but the Frenchman, sidelined for 2 months with an ankle injury, remains vital to Carlo Ancelotti. Among Toffee players, only James has more passes into the penalty area and chances created than Digne this campaign, with 4 assists in 8 appearances, over halfway to the 7 he managed in the whole of last season. Everton need a backup then, and they could look at Federico DiMarco, a 23-year-old on loan at Hellas Verona from Inter Milan. A winger by training, DiMarco got just 5 starts in Serie A last season, but still produced 3 assists. And this campaign, he's been a nailed-on starter for his club, creating 2 goals in 7 games to date. With 3.3 chances created per 90, he currently ranks 11th in Europe, as well as sitting 18th in Italy for passes into the box. And he's defensively sound too, making 3.2 tackles and interceptions each game, marginally ahead of Digne's 2.8. Valued at just £4 million, DiMarco could surely be prized out of Verona in January, especially with an Italian icon like Ancelotti to convince him. Surely this is a better solution than playing Iwobi out of position. 8. Denis Zakaria to Man City. With Fernandinho's contract up in 2021, Pep Guardiola's main project for this year should be finding a partner for Rodri, but that's no easy task. They need to be quick and alert, defensively astute, and of course a brilliant passer, while boasting the versatility to step into the back line or burst into the attack as required. Fortunately, City have unlimited funds to chase the perfect player, and that man is Denis Zakaria, who currently anchors Marcus Rowe's exciting Mönchengladbach. The Swiss is coming off a knee injury, but at his best has all the brains and brawn of Fernandinho, with 4.5 tackles and interceptions a game and a pass accuracy close to 90%. While the Brazilian passes forward more, Zakaria is a better runner, completing over 2 dribbles a match to Fernandinho's 0.5 over the last 4 seasons. And he's quicker out to attackers as well, with 20 pressures per 90, almost double the older man's mark. Zakaria would help protect Rodri and could even fill a spot in defence, seeing a handful of games at centre-half last year. If his fitness woes are behind him, a glorious future in Manchester could be ahead. 7. Sasa Kalajdzic to West Brom. Though the Premier League title race looks the most open it has in 5 years, the relegation battle is taking shape, and West Brom are in trouble. After 10 games, the Baggies have scored just 7 goals, and their best attacking player to date is Pereira, on 0.24 xG per 90, the same as Solly March and Dani Ceballos. So a big athletic striker would be a sensible signing, and the Bundesliga has just the man. Stuttgart are back in the top flight this campaign, and the second youngest squad in the Bully is putting up impressive stats, especially Austrian forward Sasa Kalajdzic, a £2.25 million signing in 2019. Though he's just 23 and playing top league football for the first time, the 6'6" Kalajdzic has rock solid stats, with 6 goal involvements in 9 appearances at the time of writing, as well as 3.3 shots and 2 key passes per game, which would sit first and second at West Brom. Also a hard worker, Kalajdzic presses opponents 19 times a game and wins the ball back 5 times, about the same as Bruno Fernandes, and vital in the fight against the drop. He wouldn't come cheap though, but compared to relegation, he'd be a steal. 6. Nordi Mukiele to Liverpool. Only Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool could cope with a season-ending injury to the best defender in the world. This campaign, the German has filled Van Dijk's spot in the back line with youngsters and midfielders, but if the Reds want to solidify their claim to a second title on the bounce, a new centre-half would be a worthwhile expense. If that defender could also cover at right back, so much the better. And once again, we're recommending a shopping trip to Leipzig. 23-year-old Nordi Mukiele is the target, having led Nagelsmann's side in tackles and interceptions over the last 18 months with a mighty 5 a match, as well as winning an insane 79% of his aerial duels. Capable of featuring at centre-half or on the flank, the Frenchman is no Trent, but is a good distributor, rating 7th in the squad for progressive passes last year and 3rd this year, while he's also weighed in with 5 goals and assists in his last 32 Bundesliga starts, the same as Wijnaldum in his last 45. The right age and the right profile, Mukiele is surely approaching the end of his time in Germany. Liverpool can offer a step up. 5. Riqui Puig to Bayer Leverkusen. A glance at the Bundesliga table makes it seem like everything is rosy in Leverkusen, but Peter Bosch's men could use some help. Though defensively solid, their attack has declined, rating 11th best for XG in the division and 9th best for shots on target. They get into the final third less often than last term, and a massive 40% of their shots come from outside the box, suggesting a lack of penetration in the absence of Kai Havertz. A smart loan could be Barcelona's Riqui Puig, yet to start in La Liga after falling out of favour with Ronald Koeman. The Spaniard, best used in a 3-man midfield, is an excellent ball mover, averaging 2.5 dribbles and 1.8 chances created a game last season, while his 1.4 passes into the penalty area per 90 would rate 2nd at Leverkusen this campaign. More importantly, he'd fit seamlessly into Bosch's pressing system, closing down opponents 26 times a game in 2019-20, the best in Catalonia and better than anyone the Dutchman currently has at his disposal. The modern game has been defined by Spanish technique and German intensity, and in Puig, Bayer Leverkusen could marry both and create a star. 4. Ainsley Maitland-Niles to Borussia Dortmund. The biggest downgrade in Europe this season must be Thomas Meunier replacing Achraf Hakimi at Dortmund. The Belgian was meant to replace Hakimi's attacking verve, hitting 8 league goal involvements in his best year at PSG, but has so far struggled both in and out of possession, and with his 30th birthday next year, is hardly one for the future. Mateu Murray and Felix Passlack aren't first team ready, so there's a vacancy for a right back, and Arsenal's Ainsley Maitland-Niles could fit the bill. The 23-year-old Englishman seems to rank behind Cedric in Mikel Arteta's plans, but has the speed, versatility and technical skill to succeed with BVB. Playing as a fullback in 1920, he averaged 4.2 tackles and interceptions a game to Meunier's 2.7, completed 1.3 dribbles to Meunier's 0.7, and was somehow better in the air than the 6'3" veteran, winning 58% of his duels to Meunier's 35. And Maitland-Niles' complement of skills means he could also sub in for Witsel in midfield, or feature on the left to allow Guerrero greater freedom. Reportedly available for £25 million, Maitland-Niles was close to joining Wolves in the summer, and would settle fast with Bellingham and Sancho to help him. Exactly the sort of clever signing Dortmund specialise in. 3. Fabian Ruiz to Real Madrid. Spain's 4th best side and wobbling in Europe, Real Madrid's only consolation is that Barcelona are even worse. The defence is an issue, with a clean sheet every 4 games this season compared to 1 in 2 last term, but though 34-year-old Sergio Ramos remains key, the side does have depth in Varane and Eder Militao. So instead, we've found a midfielder, with Kroos, Casemiro and Modric now boasting a combined age of 93. Fabian Ruiz is the heart of 2021's resurgent Napoli, with a goal involvement every 4 games, better than Real's midfield 3 put together. That could easily rocket in a new side, with Ruiz previously managing 3 key passes a game from attacking mid, but his contribution goes beyond creativity. No Neapolitan moves the ball into the final third more often than him, and he's a willing presser, regaining possession 5 times a game through closing down and making nearly 4 tackles and interceptions per 90, allowing his team to push up the pitch and record 19 shots a match, the best in Europe. Alongside Valverde and Casemiro, Ruiz would give Real a balance of attacking verve and defensive awareness, and like Modric and Makelele before him, he could be the unheralded signing to make a new roster of Galacticos tick. 2. Bruno Guimaraes to Man United. With Bruno Fernandes a one-man solution for their attacking problems, Man United are still looking for a defensive fix, and as well as Fred and Scott McTominay have started the season, neither looks like a long-term replacement for Nemanja Matic. The Serb may lack the legs he once had, but he remains an excellent distributor, and a younger, more dynamic version could push the Red Devils up the table. Lyon's Bruno Guimaraes fits the profile. The 22-year-old Brazilian plays for a Lyon desperate for cash after failed sales of Depay and Aouar in the summer, and with 4.6 tackles and interceptions per 90, his defensive output outstrips Matic's 3.7. With 21 pressures a game, he can match Fernandes' intensity, and when on the ball, he's just as useful, as he's managing 1.7 dribbles to Matic's 1.6 a game, equaling the veteran's 8 passes into the final third per 90, and even getting the ball into the box twice a match, good for 8th in Ligue 1. A Portuguese and now French speaker, Guimaraes should mesh quickly with Fernandes, Fred and Pogba, and even at £40 million could be half the cost of Wilfred Ndidi. Make it happen, Woodward. 1. Emiliano Buendia to Arsenal. The most obvious hole in any Premier League team this year is Arsenal's gaping vacancy in attacking midfield. With Ozil sidelined, Arteta has fielded Saka, Joe Willock, Lacazette and Willian in that position, but with little effect, as the Gunners are recording a goal per league game so far, and mustering just 1 shot more in their opening 10 Premier League fixtures than in 5 Europa League games, slumping into the bottom half of the table. Mooted signings Christian Eriksen and Dominic Szoboszlai are both far from ideal, the Dane too old for a long-term project, and Szoboszlai likely to need adaptation time as a 20-year-old. So the sweet spot is Emiliano Buendia, who turns 24 this season. Old enough to contribute now, young enough to develop with the team. The Argentinian, who was 4th in the Premier League for dribbles and chances created in 1920, is taking or making 6.4 shots a game in the Championship, over 2/3 of Arsenal's tally per 90, and he works incredibly hard, making the division's top 10 for tackles won, while last year he pressed nearly 30 times a match, 6th in the Premier League. Adding both vision and intensity is vital for a floundering Arsenal side, and Buendia is unlikely to cost over £30 million, a low price for a potentially job-saving acquisition. So those were our 10 January signings your club must make, but have we missed anyone out? Please let me know in the comments below. Do you disagree with any of our 10 options? Let me know down there as well. If you want to see more Football Daily content, then click on screen right now, and as always guys, don't forget to like and subscribe.